There's a lot in there, Glenn. That does not sound like somebody who's in favor of his run for president or frankly in favor of him. Like, he was smart and ambitious. Think about if that's how, like, that's why you thought that your spouse was going to run for and possibly become president. I mean, he's smart and he's ambitious. None of what Barack Obama actually ran on, right? I want to change the world. I want to heal the country, hope and change. What? Like, she wasn't buying it, and it doesn't sound like she buys it to this day.
Megyn's not fooled. The coy dance of, I'm not interested, while casually name-dropping political issues, that's straight from the handbook of someone who desperately wants to be begged into running. It's not humility. It's marketing in slow motion. Just enough vagueness to keep the headlines churning, but never enough commitment to risk actual accountability. This isn't a personal takedown. It's a roast of the absurd pedestal we've hoisted Michelle Obama onto, all while pretending her record isn't slimmer than the salad bar she championed. Megyn Kelly isn't holding back because the truth doesn't need to tiptoe around charisma, especially when that charisma is used as armor. And if Michelle's camp thinks this critique is the finale, they're sorely mistaken. The stage lights might dim, but Megyn's just getting warmed up. Now Michelle floats through award shows and elite panels like the oracle of elegantly vague wisdom, dropping carefully crafted phrases about nurturing voices or lifting narratives, and the crowd reacts like she just split the atom with a soft smile. Megyn watches the spectacle like it's a Broadway show titled The Politics of Saying Nothing Beautifully. Same speech, same cadence, different lighting. The applause isn't for substance, it's muscle memory. People clap because they've been conditioned to. Meanwhile, Michelle's legacy inflates like a balloon at a branding convention, airier by the minute. And the hollower it gets, the louder the cheers. Megyn doesn't need a confetti cannon to expose the illusion. She just points at the glitter and shows there's no gold underneath.
Michelle, she should change her name to Misery Obama. That's really what I think of when I... Misery Obama never has a positive word to say. Never. Not about children, not about family, certainly not about her husband. By the way, before we leave this topic, here's her latest soundbite that made the rounds. This happened on June 18th, but I was off. Here it is, SOT 39.
You should have threw a boy in the mix.
I would. I'm so glad I didn't have a boy.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Barack Obama.
It's like baby Barack. It would have been amazing.
Ooh, no, I would have felt for him.
She just borrowed our boys.
Yes, I got plenty.
Wow.
Did you catch that? She's glad she didn't have a boy because he would have been a Barack Obama. And that's a hard pass for her. This woman can't stand him. She can't.
Wait a minute.
Megyn Kelly just stormed the political stage with a verbal smackdown that sent shockwaves straight through Michelle Obama's designer wardrobe. No fluff, no filter, just pure firepower. It wasn't a critique, it was a demolition. And when the truth bombs started dropping, that carefully curated media darling image, it cracked like a bargain bin mirror. If you thought Michelle was untouchable, think again. Megyn didn't just question her legacy. She carved it apart with surgical precision, leaving nothing but deflections, vague speeches, and overhyped memoirs in the rubble.
Michelle Obama's still at it.
Still at it.
And in this particular soundbite, she's got thoughts on relationships. Listen here.
Relationships are long, and there are also ebbs and flows, right? So I think sometimes people who date don't realize that, in long-term relationships, you're gonna have deep dips, and you're gonna have
a bad year.
You're gonna have a bad. I tell people, and folks think that this is harsh. It's like you're gonna have a bad decade.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been married to my husband for 30 plus years. I mean, the truth is, if you add it all up, even the year if the odds were you're going to be married to your partner for 50 years, and 10 of those years could be bad.
Michelle Obama preached, when they go low, we go high, while side-eyeing anyone who dared ask, okay, but what exactly did you accomplish? Megyn Kelly. She's not buying the branding. Because the truth is, Michelle didn't rise to prominence through a resume of results. She was elevated because the media turned her every blink into a bold political statement. She waves, the power of grace. She smirks, the silent strength of restraint. Meanwhile, Megyn's sitting there wondering if America accidentally crowned a fashion icon simply because someone really, really liked belts. Then came the memoir. Oh yes, the self-help saga disguised as a literary triumph. Michelle's book tour didn't look like a political event. It looked like a Beyoncé concert with throw pillows. Stadiums packed to hear advice that essentially boiled down to be yourself, drink water, tune out haters, and also, I met Oprah once. Megyn reads that and thinks, this is Pinterest wisdom in hardcover form. I've seen fortune cookies offer more policy insight. And let's not overlook the myth of the reluctant public figure. Michelle claimed to hate politics, but couldn't stay off magazine covers, docu-series credits, or international stages with gold-plated microphones. Reluctant, please. That woman leaned into the spotlight like it was a Peloton class, led by her own reflection. Megyn sees it for what it is. Not grace, not reluctance. Just a well-polished moral authority complex dressed up as humility.
You'd sign up for it.
You'd sign up for it.
You'd sign up for
You
it.
know,
Right.
and that's really how it works out.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about.
That's where Megyn really starts tugging at the threads. The entire Obama brand rested on the illusion that Michelle was somehow above it all. Never petty, always poised, gliding over the political battlefield like a life coach on a cloud. But in reality, Michelle was a master of the Ivy League side-eye. She smiled through gritted teeth while lobbing passive-aggressive zingers with the precision of a debate club assassin. Megyn knows that tone. It's the same one you use when firing someone while complimenting their shoes. And then there's the Every Woman Act routine. Michelle strutting through billion-dollar venues, telling middle-class moms she gets their struggle. As if bedtime routines at the White House with staff and security are somehow relatable to corralling 3 kids in a 2-bedroom walk-up next to a train station. Megyn can't help but laugh at the idea that someone who jets to climate summits on a private plane thinks they've earned the moral high ground on carbon footprints. It's not empathy, it's theater. And Megyn's done pretending not to see the script.
She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with children.
There are just many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Just listen to what I said, right? Like it's probably, if you're having some issues in your marriage, it's not you, it's the process of marriage.
Michelle's legacy has been polished into this shimmering, untouchable mirage, where even her missteps are spun into feminist milestones. She micromanaged school menus, empowerment. She stumbled through a speech, redefining authenticity. Megyn slices through that narrative like it's a tissue paper curtain. Sometimes a misstep is just a misstep. And sometimes a powerful woman isn't trailblazing. She's just repackaging soft politics and couture. Then there's the fitness fixation. Michelle's arms have gotten more airtime than some global conflicts. The woman flexed once and the media basically fainted from bicep-induced awe. You'd think her triceps came with a legislative agenda. Megyn smirks at the absurdity. Sure, personal health is great, but let's not pretend Michelle curling dumbbells was the same as pushing economic reform. It was brilliant PR. It wasn't policy. Her activism was always carefully curated, loud enough to trend, but soft enough to never ruffle the wrong feathers. She championed causes that came pre-approved by consultants and neatly sidestepped anything with actual stakes. Megyn sees it for what it is, the safest form of influence. Make noise about what everyone already agrees with. Pose with a child and call it progress. It's political theater served with yoga mat energy. Michelle was hailed as revolutionary for telling people to be kind, as if that was some groundbreaking revelation never uttered before she laminated it, branded it, and turned it into a hashtag.
Latest example was when she went on this other guy's podcast, Jay Shetty. She goes and sits down with him, and he asks her, what are you afraid of? And she starts off by saying, well, it's not, my fears aren't for me. You know, I think about the streets. My fears aren't for me.
Well, in this current climate for me, it's, what's happening to immigrants.
I mean, I travel in a 4-car motorcade. After all, I'm Michelle Obama. She actually says this. And then she says, but, I worry for my girls because, not that much because they are sort of recognizable, but I'm worried about them.
Let's not forget the never-ending first label. Yes, Michelle Obama was the first lady. But the way her story's retold, you'd think she was the first woman in history to walk, talk, and read a teleprompter simultaneously. Every speech became a documentary. Every interview, a TED Talk in heels. Megyn sees through the overproduction. What's being sold isn't history. It's a politically anointed PR machine churning out personality cult merch faster than Barack could sign executive orders. And don't even get her started on the post-White House glow-up. Michelle didn't retreat into private life. She launched a full-blown media empire built on the mantra of being unapologetically herself, which just so happened to involve monetizing every corner of her personality, like a high-end lifestyle influencer with a Netflix deal. The Obamas didn't just leave the White House. They turned their legacy into a streaming content bundle. Most first ladies write a memoir. Michelle turned hers into a cinematic universe. Let's be honest, Michelle's popularity isn't built on policy chops, economic expertise, or legislative wins. It's built on her ability to speak with conviction about topics wrapped in cultural immunity, things no one's allowed to criticize. She doesn't debate, she declares. And if you challenge it, you're instantly labeled bitter, out of touch, or worse. Megyn's not playing that game. She showed up with facts, clarity, and the kind of unfiltered bite that makes polished PR teams nervously reach for the crisis plan.
So listen to what Michelle Obama said in response to this opinion today. Of course, students on my campus and countless others across the country were and continue to be granted special consideration for admissions. Some have parents who graduated from the same school. Others have families who can afford coaches to help them run faster and hit a ball harder. Others go to high schools with lavish resources for tutors and extensive standardized test prep. So often we just accept that money, power, and privilege are perfectly justifiable forms of affirmative action, while kids growing up like I did are expected to compete when the ground is anything but level. You know what, Michelle? Same. And I'm white. I didn't have any of those advantages.
Michelle Obama wasn't a first lady. She was a lifestyle influencer with a Secret Service detail. Her top contributions to American life: banning cookies in school cafeterias and turning daytime TV into a fitness infomercial with hula hoops. And Megyn Kelly? She doesn't need a teleprompter for this one. She's armed with 2 decades of pent-up irritation at the national canonization of a woman who somehow made kale sound like a patriotic duty.
She says the bars are just different for people in life. Right. The bar was very different for your husband. Very different. And I'm sure he got into Harvard just based purely on his intellect, right? And Harvard Law School. And he was ushered into the presidency with about 2 minutes of public service behind him, right? Like a short stint in the U.S. Senate after being a local Illinois lawmaker. And he was lauded like he was the second.
Michelle Obama has built an empire on the power of a furrowed brow and a perfectly timed head tilt. Like even gravity leans in whenever she speaks. She somehow turned reminding people to eat lettuce and wear cardigans into a full-scale cultural brand, complete with inspirational lighting and soft piano music. Megyn Kelly, meanwhile, takes one look at that legacy and starts sharpening her sarcasm like it's a legal brief, filed directly with the court of public opinion and stamped overrated in bold.
Here's the first one about how difficult it is for Black women like Michelle to articulate their pain.
We grew up with women who weren't voicing the pain and the burden. They made it look easy. And when you make stuff look easy, people assume that you must like this.
Yeah.
It's okay with you, right?
Right.
You know, we don't articulate as Black women our pain because it's almost like nobody ever gave us permission.
Every Michelle Obama appearance came wrapped in the tone of a royal decree, disguised as a motivational speech. She'd stride onto talk shows like she'd just wrapped up high-stakes peace negotiations, only to unveil a coloring book or a jump rope initiative. The pageantry was presidential, the content preschool.
No, I mean, because when you're thinking of victims of this awful world, you think of Michelle Obama and how terrible we've all been to her. This woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about anything.
Megyn practically rolls her eyes into the next tax bracket, watching it all unfold. This isn't substance. It's showbiz with a side of quinoa. And that school lunch crusade? Don't even start. Michelle stormed the nation's cafeterias like a dietary dictator, declared war on pizza, and then expected a standing ovation while kids launched vending machine rebellions. You know it's gone off the rails when a 6-year-old starts treating contraband Doritos like black market currency. Megyn doesn't need to go fact-hunting. The proof was smeared all over middle school lunch trays, where healthy eating meant watching your meal die a slow, flavorless death.
Life out loud.
This is the perfect soundbite after the discussion we just had about how the left looks at everything through this identity. You could say prism. You could also say prison, where she's talking about how women aren't allowed to articulate their pain, about how they just suck it up. You know, they don't show that, as if men never do that. Men are known, aren't they, for articulating their pain? That's what you think of when you think of man.
Let's talk about how Michelle Obama's media coverage was basically the editorial equivalent of a group hug. Every magazine cover was a tribute. Every puff piece read like a love letter. She didn't just get good press, she got canonized. You'd think she was Florence Nightingale meets Maya Angelou, with a gym membership and a personal stylist. But Megyn Kelly, she doesn't need incense and soft jazz to assess a legacy. She looks at outcomes. And when it comes to Michelle, the results spreadsheet is thinner than her cafeteria calorie limits. And yet, Michelle floats above criticism, like it's beneath her. Because that's the trick. She's been made bulletproof not by perfection, but by positioning. Any critique of the myth gets instantly labeled disrespect. Megyn's not here to tear it all down just to stir the pot. She's here to remind us this isn't a statue we're dealing with. It's a cardboard cutout dressed in marble lighting, getting the museum treatment. And the kicker? Michelle's still out there, dropping political hints like she's teasing a sequel. Because apparently, the mythology isn't done printing itself yet.
In their party does not appear to be Michelle Obama. So far, no. She got no percentages whatsoever as the leader of the party, which is interesting because think of all the buzz around her when we thought Joe had to step down after that June debate. He's got to go. Could it be Kamala? Well, she's not going to win. What about Michelle? Oh, would she do it? She was one of the main names, if not the main name, mentioned. But now nobody sees her as a party leader. And apparently Michelle Obama does not see herself as a party leader, because when she talks about like her time in the White House, Barack running, it's all negative on this new podcast. I mean, it's exactly what we thought, that it's very clear she hated being first lady. She hated being in Washington. She doesn't like the fact that Barack was president. I mean, she just has nothing but negative things to say.
Megyn cracks up at the fact that people shelled out $150 a ticket to hear a woman say what their grandmother already cross-stitched onto a throw pillow. That's not courage. It's comfort, dressed up in empowerment buzzwords, and delivered with a teleprompter smile. Michelle didn't shatter ceilings. She hosted luncheons under them. Every initiative she touched came with the cinematic gloss of a Hallmark movie and the emotional depth of a LinkedIn post. Megyn doesn't hate Michelle Obama. She just refuses to genuflect before a personality cult built entirely on curated charisma, sanitized virtue signaling, and the quiet performance of humility while soaking in praise like a standing ovation is her natural habitat. Michelle's legacy isn't just overblown, it's industrialized. It's been sanded down, polished, waxed, and resold to the public in sound bites and glossy photo collections. There's nothing wrong with positivity, but pretending it's a governing philosophy. That's where Megyn draws the line. You don't run a country on brunch slogans. You don't build civic reform with hashtags and Spotify playlists. And you sure as hell don't earn sainthood for handing out carrot sticks at a DC charter school.